Welcome back to another episode of Is This Even Real? Roll it.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode. We have a new guest today. Kat, how are you?
I'm good. Hi, guys.
And we have a returning guest, Mr. Vince.
How are we today?
And as usual, your house guests, Joe and Diana. Having trouble talking today. That's all right. So we're going to talk about some relationships, and I think the best way to kick that off would be with Kat. Why don't you tell us about your most recent relationship, whether positive, negative? How'd that go?
So I just got out of a recent relationship. I had just come back from my semester abroad, and I broke up with him before I went.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I actually didn't think I had no plans of breaking up with him until like 3 days before.
So what started all that?
Well, we were together for a while, like a year, and things were going well. And I think that there were a lot of needs that I had that I guess I just compromised on and ignored throughout the course of the relationship. And I don't think I came to terms with it until there was one night I had moved to France and I was living with my best friend. She was talking to this guy before we left school to move to France, and they'd only known each other for a month, and they were like full-blown like love at first sight, like this and that, like I think he's the one, da 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 da. I'm like, all right. And so I'm just like unpacking my shit, and I'm like laying on the couch. I'm like, okay, like we're 6 hours ahead of the US, like the timing is also a problem. And like I'm laying there and I just hear in the other room my best friend, right, like talking to this guy she had just met about like everything in France, like he wants to hear about it, like she's so excited to share with him. And I'm like, how can't I even get that when I'm already in a relationship? They're not even dating. Let
me ask you this, right? I want to step back a little bit. How did you guys first meet? So I want to try to get to the bottom of why this didn't work.
Okay.
Relationship expert over here.
I don't think
I'm
you're
like
gonna find well.
Dr.
Okay.
Phil.
Yeah.
Except right. It's like you're twins.
Except I have hair. Sorry, Phil.
We actually officially met at a party sophomore year. I'm in my senior year, but we met like 2 years ago, and we actually lived on the same floor in the same dorm in freshman year, and I hated this guy. Like, him and his friend would just be obnoxious and just be so loud all the time. It's like, do you not have anything to do right now? Like, do you not have exams tomorrow or like anything?
But you thought he was hot.
I'd never seen him before.
No, okay.
So you just hated him without seeing him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where did the attraction come in, I guess?
Well, when I actually saw him.
All right. So when you actually saw him, you're like, wow, this dude's smoking hot, right?
Yeah.
So you liked him because he was an asshole?
No.
So
at this party, I like bump into him, and I knew a few people at this party already, but I didn't know who he was. But I was like, you look kind of familiar. Like, sorry if that's like weird. I was like, I actually don't know where I recognize you from. And he's like, oh, I think we lived on the same floor last year. And I was like, oh, really?
You're so silly.
Okay.
I was like, oh, cool. I don't remember that at all. And that was that. I mean, what really stuck out to me, though, was, I mean, I go to Indiana. Like, it's...
University of Indiana?
Indiana University.
Indiana University.
Yeah.
Same shit.
Hi, you.
Okay.
But anyways, there's a lot of parties. Like, I'm in Greek life as well. So, like, we were at a frat party.
What is Greek life?
Greek life is basically A pyramid scheme? I could totally get into that.
It's a sorority,
Oh
pretty
my
much.
gosh.
Sororities and fraternities.
It's literally a pyramid scheme. But yes,
okay.
it's like sororities, fraternities, and it's just paying money to have a group of friends.
Okay.
I think
that's awful.
I think it
Please
kinda,
accept me. I have money.
Well, it kind of seems like political, and like it's like sororities and fraternities. I feel like I didn't go to college, but I feel like
It is so political.
it's like government. Like there's,
Yeah.
I'm guessing there's like different houses. I know that much,
Yeah.
and it's like beef. Like some sororities have beef with others. Some fraternities have beef with others. I mean, it's wild.
It's drama. It's like
I'm here
people
for
say,
it.
"Oh, like no one really cares about like popularity and stuff after high school, like blah blah blah." Oh, Greek life is literally high school, like reborn again.
So with you saying that it's like high school reborn again, I could agree with you. I've never been to college, but I had a question about you meeting said boyfriend. If you knew said boyfriend, I don't know who he is, was a loud, obnoxious punk at first before meeting him. You meet him. Are you in Greek life at the moment of meeting him at this party?
Yes.
And you meet him and it's like a wild time. And do you put two and two together that he was the loud party boy that you did not like?
No, I had no idea. And I had to like mention it to my friend and be like, "Oh, so I guess he was the one that moved out of the dorm and then moved into the frat house like halfway through freshman year." And that's when I put the two and two together.
And did your thought of him being the loud person that you disliked have any entanglement in the decision of liking this man? Or,
So after like meeting him, like actually talking to him, like a year later, I mean, I didn't immediately like write it off just because I didn't even put the two and together because when we were talking, it seemed like he was a completely different person, like entirely. And the reason he stuck out to me was because when you're at these parties, it's hard enough to even get like a real conversation from a guy.
Oh, I would agree.
And so like because he genuinely seemed interested in like having conversation, like getting to know me and sharing about his life as if I was his friend for, I guess, since freshman year, it seemed really different to me.
Interesting. And so to wrap up Greek life, because that's what we were talking about, you found this out, but you're enjoying life so much. Did it hold you back at all from living your best quote unquote Greek life? Because did you like start like then forming a relationship with him?
Oh no.
Oh, good.
Oh, this gets like kind of messy just because there was a huge lack of communication, and that's also a really big thing that I realized that was probably the biggest wedge between our relationship.
How long were you guys hanging out before you decided to date?
5 or 6 months.
Okay, so that's a considerable amount of time.
It was like too long.
You think that's too
so
long?
he didn't ask you out.
No.
Okay, and you have a problem with that.
Yeah, I had a huge problem with it.
I
get that.
I'm
Yes,
pretty
I get that.
sure
Thank
Diana
you.
can sympathize with that very much.
Yeah, because guys just they don't see you like, come on, let's get this fucking going.
Exactly.
Well, here's my question on that. Okay, so you're saying guys don't see it in the sense of let's get this going.
Yeah.
What's the rush? If you want something, they have the old saying, right? Good things come with time. What is the purpose of rushing something? What's the purpose with forcing a relationship if you're not mentally at that point yet?
I can't speak for Kat, but I am only young for a little period of time. If you're not going to do it, some other dude's going to do it.
So you're not actually interested in a relationship then for a genuine connection. You're in the line of, well, I only look attractive and young for a small period of time.
No, I could have a genuine connection with another guy.
In a rushed period?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're rushing it.
Okay.
Why rush
I think
it?
there's a huge difference between rushing a relationship and not talking about it and not having respect for the girl that you clearly know is into you, but you're just kind of leading her on at that point.
That's fair.
Of course, good things take time, but like if you don't even give her the respect of telling her where you're at, and if you don't even want a relationship, you should just tell her.
That's a fair point.
I have the perfect scenario for this because
is it you with anime?
No, this happened. Don't you diss anime? First off, second off, this happened to me
with subtitles.
So I have a friend on Snapchat, and she had a friend. They went on a trip.
This is already getting messy.
No. So I am only friends with, I'm only friends with Antoinette because of, well, I don't want to use her real name in case somehow she's
right.
Antoinette.
The names he chooses for these scenarios.
So Antoinette, because I'm going to use A. So A is one of my friends. We'll call him Bilbo Baggins. A and B. So I only know her because of him. And she went on a trip with 3 girlfriends. I know 2 of them acquaintances because I've seen them around parties, bonfires, and I'm super shy. I don't like talking to women because I'm afraid of rejection. So I would rather talk to them on the phone. Whether it's call, whether it's text, whether it's whatever. People don't call anymore.
Yeah, I hate phone calls.
I don't want to cut you off on that, but I want to keep in mind that rejection thing that you just mentioned. We're going to talk about that before this episode's done because that's going to play a big part with mental health.
Yeah.
I'm not going to dive into that right now, but go ahead.
Maybe you can help me get over that fear. But, so we talk. She adds me on Snapchat after I compliment her through Antoinette's story. I was like, I compliment the friend as well because you got to bring friends in. If there's 3 friends, you compliment all 3 because that's how it works. I've watched enough stuff.
So sweet.
So she adds me after I think a day on Snapchat. I don't know if she was added by Antoinette. But we're going to call said girl Juliana because I think that's a really pretty name. But so me and Juliana talk for a couple months, and she is the coolest woman I think I've ever talked to in my life. She's kind of like my mama, does the same stuff. We have great connection. I'm hyping her up. Everything's going great. We talk for, honestly, a couple months, and I'm like, you know what? It's becoming summer. We should go mini golfing because I don't like going out to dinner. First date, horrible idea. And I will die on that hill.
That is a bad idea.
I don't want to eat. I don't want to drink and feel rushed and talk. I want little one-on-one. I can maybe show you how to putt. But anyway, so I think it's just a cute idea. So I ask her, she's like, I'm down. I was like, cha-ching, money signs in my eyes. I get to take this super pretty, super cool girl out, kind of like my mama, a little bit crazy, love it. Day comes. I get my hair cut the night before. I go out, I get clothes, I get shoes, I get I wanted to bring a damn broom so I could sweep her off her feet. Day comes. I get up. I give myself a "you are the man" pep talk. And my buddy texts me. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing today?" I'm like, "Bro, migo, I can't do nothing. I'm going mini golfing with this girl." And I tell her the story. She texts me 12:30. You're going to kill me. And I go, "Listen, I'm not Ted Bundy." And she goes,
I'm not Ted.
and
Listen.
so I was like, "No, like I'm not, what? Like I'm not going to kill you. It's only my first date in like 15 years." But continue. And she's like, "I don't feel well, and I don't think it would be correct of me to go out if I don't feel good. Plus my cat was sick all night." And I go, first off, I get the cat thing because like I had a pet.
Do you
And
think
she-
it was a cop out?
She lives, yes,
She's a capper.
of course. But then we make plans again in the fallish
Okay.
to go snowboarding. Love it. Didn't happen. And then,
the worst.
and then,
So she was leading you on.
and
the
then,
whole time.
but we had amazing conversation, and I didn't want to rush it. So that was the whole point of that story. I didn't rush it because I know what happens if you rush things. You get broken. But
Were
if
you hooking up at this point?
No.
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 Okay. All right.
And so we're going to take our tricycle and go down a couple months. And she posts a story of some dude on her Snapchat.
No.
I will tell you, without glasses, this dude looked like me. And I was like, "You got to be kidding me." I was
Oh my gosh.
I was flabbergasted.
Yeah, you know what? In a sense, take that as a compliment.
But that's the whole, when she was
True.
saying we don't want our time taken. I didn't take too long, but I genuinely expressed my interest. Every day she would send me a Snapchat. I would send her one, "Good morning," blah blah blah. I would be someone that I think that they would need. She was someone that I thought I would need. Rungo.
No, this wasn't one of those sketchy situations where you pay for the Snapchat.
No.
Oh my gosh.
No.
She sounds horrible.
She is, regardless.
I hope her French
She
fries
is-
are cold.
Same.
I would never. I think she. No, she is still a great person. I still talk to her.
Well, wait. Let me just ask you right now.
Oh,
would
boy.
you
Oh, no.
would you restart this up again in the hopes of dating her?
The fucking suspense is killing us,
Because-
You
dude.
could see our faces right now.
Because of
Oh
the
my
so
Oh my
I
God.
liked. Yes, I would.
In
If she,
short,
If I
if
could reach you right now,
oh my
if she could
goodness.
reach me right now, listen, I get it. But I built up a relationship with her, and I helped her through tough times. She helped me through tough times, like up to our mini golf date. And I think that the relationship that we did build still holds strong because I still talk to her. I'm obviously like unhappy about the outcome, but there was nothing I could do to change it. So why would I be upset? It
How
was
long
her-
ago was this?
How long ago was we were supposed to go snowboarding in December.
oh, this past December.
Yes.
Okay.
But we still talk. She still sends me she still like sends me Snapchats. I still call her pretty. Like she's still a
So
great
she's
woman.
using you for attention. That's what it sounds like,
Yeah.
man. I'm not trying to be an ass about that. Like, just genuinely.
No, but it's not just that. So it's like we talk about like stuff. Like I'm not obviously going into depth about it, but we talk on a somewhat daily basis.
So going out on a limb here, friend zoned.
Oh, most likely.
Well,
That-
Why would you go through that again? Why would you give her a
I-
second shot and risk your emotion over that? Because I know you for a while.
Because
right?
I'm a man. I genuinely see it as I don't get many chances. So if I have already invested in that chance, and that chance comes around again, why not?
So it's like going to McDonald's. They fuck up your order, but you're always gonna go back.
Oh
Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
because I know that they don't fuck it up every time.
Only most of the time.
There's only one or maybe a couple. There's a couple stipulations to if she was to be like, hey, if she like apologized and was like really truthful and respectful about it, boom. Okay, cool.
Well, that's fair.
If I'm not dropping someone to take that shot. I'm not putting someone else on the back burner to take that shot. If I was homeless, yeah, fuck it. First of all, she's very talented in what she does. She's like, she does weddings and stuff. She's like she's a floral like arrangement person. And
I thought I almost knew who you were talking about.
She does like really, really good shit. You might. But regardless, she is very talented.
Is she a photographer?
No.
Oh, all right.
I don't
never
think
mind.
so.
Never
But
mind.
yes, I wouldn't put someone else out of my life to put her in there. If I'm single and
homeless.
I'm done with my hot boy summer, you know.
That's not a thing.
We're all dad bod.
It's hot girl summer.
Then we're dad bod.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Dad bod down.
Well, okay, I have a point to make about that. Like when you were saying, you know, like I've already invested so much in this relationship, I'm not just going to like, you know, drop it, whatever. The chance could still be there. I think it is totally okay to have a relationship with her, like a friendship. And I see that because it's like, oh, like they're a special person in my life. We talk about things, like things get personal. They know about my life. I know about theirs.
Right.
But like, as long as you are okay with what she's giving you or what she isn't giving you, then that's okay. Like, you just have to know what you can compromise and what you're okay with living with. And like, if you're okay with her not ever going to give you a solid answer or not going to go on a date with you or take that initiative and like actually take it one step further, then that's okay. You just have to know what you're okay with and what you're not okay with.
I'm comfortable with how things are, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, we talk back and forth and that's it. Like, it could, if she like, I'm not waiting on her. I would never wait unless it was someone that I knew. Like, if I met someone
But you do know her.
No, but I'm saying if I met...
Unless you were homeless.
Say I met Tanasha.
What is with these fucking names?
Because
From Antoinette to Tanasha.
I'm
Oh
putting
my
it into
God.
existence. I'm a spiritual person. Let me do it.
Amen.
But
Where does that name derive from?
I don't know. Where does my name derive from? Native Indian and French Canadian. Here's me. But if I met someone like maybe at a bar, maybe at a rodeo, maybe at something that I enjoy doing, and I go, I'm not leaving unless I have her number and we go out tonight or tomorrow. I don't give her an option. I'm gonna see it, I'm gonna believe it, and it's gonna happen. Boom. I'm a firm believer in you see someone in your world just stops. And it happens. Cue sound effect.
Now, here's a question for the ladies in here. Do you think that whole stance there, like, I'm not leaving until I have her number, is that too aggressive?
No.
Well, if they don't say that to me, I guess I wouldn't really know.
Like, what if he came up to you, right? Like, what if some guy in a bar came up to you and was like, hey, I'm not leaving until I get your number?
Well, definitely don't say it out loud. That's scary.
You can't do that. You can't do that. If I was out at a bar with you, okay, and I turned, and for instance, if you were at a bar, so say that happens, and I look at you and I go, bro, Tanasha just walked in, because that's the name I used that is going to stop me in my tracks. So I use that and I go, dude, I'm not leaving till I get a number or date.
So I'm eating Taco Bell by myself.
Say 100%. Unless no. Yeah, if Tanasha wants Taco Bell, I'm sorry, you ain't gonna be the first one to eat Taco Bell with us. You can be second. But we're sharing a frickin' either a cheesy gordita crunch, because those are fire, or the Crunchwrap Supremes.
Those are
all
bomb.
day.
Those are bomb.
But-
You do the Diablo sauce.
Guys, we're not getting sponsored over here, so don't.
Yeah.
Oh
Fuck
yeah,
you,
we
Taco
hate
Bell.
Taco
Pay
Bell.
us.
Screw you guys. Food poisoning.
Taco Bell, I
To
can
be
give you my
fair-
email if you hear this.
To be fair, Taco Bell is the only fast food company that's not even like, 100% beef. They know it's fake as shit, and we're gonna buy it
Yeah,
anyways.
what kind of beef is going to cost 79 cents to add in your taco?
Right.
That is not beef.
That's not real.
No,
That's like
but it's
fucking
but
mice from the alley.
But it's
Ew.
it's after bar food,
Yeah.
and I see her walk in, so I go, she gonna be hungry, and I
So true. She probably is.
She looks hungry.
I saw this from a movie. I'm gonna use it one day in my life. I'm going to say something. She's going to laugh. I'm gonna say, you have a really nice smile, and she's gonna be like, oh, well, thanks. And I go, we're going out tonight, and she's gonna be like, holy shit, what the hell's going on? I got laughed. She made me laugh. He complimented me, and then I'm taking you out to dinner. After the bar, we can go get some Crunchwrap Supremes or whatever. After, like, maybe I buy you one drink.
I'm
how
just
it's gonna
gonna
work.
say that's a pretty good ending to the night.
And then
It's not gonna
Tacos. You wouldn't go for that?
I'm just thinking, like.
Well, you don't like
that-
tacos to begin
So-
with. but
okay, well, hold on.
She hates on
I'm
tacos.
I'm just thinking of like a really creepy guy
I'm
doing
not-
that to me.
I'm not creepy looking, though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying
I'm not
that
coming out
that's
the
not gonna
shadows.
work for all the guys. Like,
I'm not trying to pick up a guy.
it's not gonna work for.
Oh, you mean okay? I'm sorry. I thought she was.
Yeah. No.
So Tanasha is actually a guy. That's what I'm gathering from this.
It's not Takashi 6ix9ine. It's Tanasha.
Tanasha.
Misheard it.
Why can't we just come up with like regular fake names? Like, oh, this is Amber.
Because I know an Amber.
Antoinette.
Antoinette. Holy moly.
No,
So-
but I think it depends on the guy trying to pick you up.
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
Let's get a relationship story from you. Let's hear something, whether
me?
positive,
I'm
negative.
the worst person to.
I know this, but they don't.
Okay.
Let's do it.
What's like the weirdest way you've gotten asked out?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I'm trying to think.
I wish I had a cool story for you. I truly do, but I don't.
Too.
But like, I don't get asked. What us? We don't get asked out.
We don't. No, guys don't get asked
I
out.
mean,
But I would love to hear cool stories. I always love hearing. Cool
obviously, guys are always trying to slide into DMs, but I think most recently I had
Does
this.
that actually work?
No,
Does it? Like,
No.
if a guy
No.
no.
What if a guy slides in your DM, Vince? You gonna let him hit?
If his name is
Then
Tanasha,
yes.
No, but it like
Snapchat Premium.
I'm not talking. Listen, I love when you say like guys slide in the DMs all the time. I can justify women getting attention that they don't enjoy. But women as a gender, well, don't cancel us.
Controversial.
But women,
Be careful there, man. That's hot water.
but
There's
women,
like 72 different kinds now.
There's like one viewer.
you could have,
Jeez,
but
that
you could
fucking
have
hurt.
a genuine, nice person slide in your DMs, and it would never work.
It depends if I knew them.
How do you know if they're genuine via text and
You
on
don't.
a social media app?
You don't. But I guarantee you. So if there's 1 to every 50, a women can just like you don't have to worry about it. You can be like, if you're feeling lonely, you give that one dude attention, and he's hooked for a week.
That brings up an excellent point there, Vince.
Wait, can you finish your story?
Yes,
I'm
yes,
very
yeah.
curious.
Okay,
Sorry
so I
about
guess
that.
most recently I had this new coworker start, and this was the first day I met him, and he was asking me, like, I had told him that I don't want to be working, and he was like, well, what would you be doing if you're not working? I go, I would want to be a stay-at-home mom. And he goes, oh, so you want to be a trophy wife? And I go, yeah, pretty much. And he goes, I can make you a trophy wife. Just give me a few years. And I go, I have a boyfriend. And his response was, yeah, but things change. So
ask him how fast broken legs heal.
But the thing is, he's this really, really buff dude that actually scares me.
That's why I stay with a beer belly and I'm
going to get into
shorter
that
stature.
right now.
I don't want to be an intimidating person.
Buff,
It's
skinny.
very intimidating.
I can see how it's intimidating for you. You're a very small person in general.
Right. I would stand no chance.
Right. That's why you should carry a taser.
Not at work.
Why?
I can't be tasing people.
Only bad things happen outside of work. I forgot.
No, I can't tase people inside.
I can't.
Take them outside.
I
Ask them
can't.
to go outside.
Hey, you
can't-
want to come out to my car for a second?
Well, I can't carry anything at work either. I mean, I work in the public. If I get robbed, I gotta be just like, yo, here you go, bud.
I understand that for your position, right? So, like, you work in, I'm not going to say the name, but you work in a customer service position where you have a lot of people coming in and out.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand why you're not allowed to be armed or anything like that, because
Yeah.
realistically, is the $50 in the register worth a fucking lawsuit? No, it's not. They come in to rob you. You go, what do you do? All right, man, here's a pack of smokes. You know what I mean?
Oh, I would give it. You want a Slurpee and a blowy, dude? Just so I don't get hurt.
Right,
Make that a combo.
I totally understand that, but for the majority of people, right, especially women, why not protect yourself, right? Think about it like this.
Couldn't at work.
One time, I almost got kidnapped.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell us.
It was actually so scary, and I completely forgot about it until you mentioned the whole taser thing, because I
Do you
never...
carry a taser now?
Well, no, just because I haven't been back on campus since it happened.
Okay.
But
Oh, is that
since
school?
yeah, this was really recent, and like I never considered getting a taser or anything like that until like this happened, which is, I guess, pretty privileged of me to say, because I know there's a lot of people who do have to worry about that kind of thing. But anyways, I was coming back from this like chapter meeting I had, and it was a Sunday night, and I figured I may as well just run to the grocery store real quick so I could have some stuff before the week started, like the next day for school. And it was around 9:30 p.m. and I'm pulling into the parking lot of this grocery store. And when I pull into park, I like, this thought literally crossed my mind to park closer to the store because it was just late at night and it was kind of sketchy out. So I parked close to the store, and to my right side there is a black pickup truck, and to my left there's nobody else. And I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna run in, run back out. I'm bringing my stuff out after I'm done paying for it, and I'm walking to my car, and I walk towards my car where it's like on the left of me, and like it's just like the hood of my car. And I noticed like the black pickup truck is still there, and to get into my driver's seat, I notice there's a beat up white van parked so close to my driver's side, and it's on, like someone's in the car, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I stop walking, and I'm like, what is happening? I'm like carrying stuff in my hands, so I'm like, okay, no one is in this truck next to me. I'm just gonna unlock my car and put my stuff in the passenger seat and like kind of look to see if, you know, anyone's in there. So I unlock my car, I put my stuff, and I look, and there's this guy, this like 60-year-old man. His window is like halfway down. He's like on his phone, like pretending to like be distracted or like be busy or something. And I'm like, we make eye contact. And I'm like, all right, hell no.
So you know he's
Hell
watching you.
no. Yeah.
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
like, all
fucked
right, this is done.
Did you run back into the store?
I put my shit inside, locked my car, went right back into the store, because I was like, I'm getting a horrible feeling about this. And so I'm like figuring out what to do, and I'm like, okay, well, like I could ask, I guess, the front desk to like walk me out.
Yeah.
I could like see if like a, you know, worker's like around. I'm like, well, like I could ask the man. He looks kind of lanky. I don't know if he could like protect me. And I'm like sitting there like figuring what to do. And then this employee like comes up to me. She like notices I'm kind of like stressed out. And she's like, yeah, like, can I help you? Explain to her what's going on. She's like, yeah, like I can totally walk you out. Just like point out to me like which one your car is. And so we're walking out and I'm like, okay, like that's my car. That's the car that just got here. It wasn't there when I was here. And I don't know what to do. She's like, okay, I'll stand here until you leave the parking lot. She's like, okay, yeah, go ahead. I was like, is it okay if I just like go through my passenger door? Asking her as if it was her car. Like, what was I doing? And I'm like, I don't know. And so she's like, yeah, like do whatever you do. And I'm like, okay. So I literally climb through my passenger side.
Was this guy watching you?
I don't know. I didn't look. Oh, it was so scary. Oh, it was horrible. I don't even. Can you come home with me tonight? I'm like scared now.
Why don't you just stay here?
I'm scared. Anyways, so I climb in through my passenger side into my driver's side. As soon as I get in, I lock my door, turn my shit on, and I pull right out of there. And I pull out of the parking lot. It gets worse. And so I'm like, I zoom, and I'm like waiting at the stoplight to turn left, right? It's, there's 2 lanes. One is like a left turn, and then one's straight. I'm waiting there, it's a red. But the straight lane is green. So I'm waiting there. I see the white van zoom by me as if he just didn't get a victim of the night and just decided to just go home.
He was pissed.
He probably found someone else.
So with that real life experience,
oh my God,
would you consider carrying a taser or a gun to protect yourself?
Yeah, and I cannot wait to use pepper spray for once because I'm kind of excited. Because people who are predators deserve to be, I don't know, hurt in
castrated.
Some way. And yes,
beat
and also,
down.
if anyone
That's
here
fair.
needs
That's
to ever
very fair.
use like a taser or pepper spray or whatever, apparently it's you're in trouble if you don't call an ambulance for them for some godforsaken reason.
What?
So after you spray them, and if you don't want to get charged, you have to call them an ambulance, and then you can just get out. Because
that's very
you'll
true.
be left with like a charge of like, I don't know, it could be seen as something else.
They can get you for assault and battery.
Yeah, something like
Are you
that.
fucking kidding me?
Yeah, no, I'm
that's
serious.
a
And it's
real
like, I
thing.
wish you would just rot and die, but apparently I have to save your life now. You suck.
So, speaking of that, all right, so carrying tasers, pepper spray, firearms, whatever you want to carry, depending on the level of that, I do highly recommend that you take a class in it.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. And like every time I guess remember this story, or if it's like late at night or something, I will tell everybody I know just because it's a huge safety hazard.
Absolutely.
And my friends, like younger sisters, especially girls, like I'll tell them like when they're coming to college.
Did you report this
No,
this van?
Oh,
I didn't
man.
because I had no like.
You didn't get a picture
Here's
of
the
it?
most messed up part. Okay, it took me like a few days for this situation to kind of like settle and for me to like actually start freaking out about it. And I was like online, like doing some research. I was like, okay, like I know the town that my college is in has a lot of history of like abductions. It's scary. What?
That's a thing over there?
Yes.
Oh,
it's
Jesus.
horrible. And I'm like looking it up because I'm like, oh, like I wonder if this is happening. And that week in particular, so many creepy, like weird pedophile like men were just on campus and everything. It was disgusting. And
why is the school allowing that in the first place?
I don't know, but okay, you know how there was a pickup truck parked to my right side when I was in the parking lot, and there's nothing on my left.
Yep.
It was much bigger than my car. And the reason they did that is because that's apparently a tactic they use because the cameras won't catch that van because I'm hiding behind that truck that's bigger than me.
Exactly.
So none of the cameras would have gotten it. I would have no way to report it because that's something they do. They probably chose my car because I was parked next to a bigger one. Mm-hmm. So if you're parking somewhere, park at least on the end where your driver's side isn't blocked.
A good tip for anybody, any female listeners, I mean, even male, it's a good thing to keep your location services on your phone on.
For sure.
And Apple, I'm not sure about Android, but Apple actually has an application that you can download. So if you do get yourself into an emergency situation like that, you can tap your side button twice really fast, and it automatically calls 911 for you, which is really cool. So I would highly recommend that for, college students, not just college students, really anybody that would need it. So that's something definitely to look into. So here's a question about that relationship that you were telling us about earlier. Did any of that trauma type stuff affect a relationship for you?
Are you referring to the
possible kidnapping? Yes, the possible kidnapping, like that kind of anxiety, I guess, right? Being alone, being
Feeling
at a gas
unsafe.
station, feeling unsafe. Like, did that maybe affect some of your decisions in a relationship?
That's a good question. I would say that trauma didn't really, I guess, find its way through the cracks of my relationship. But it did make me more aware and recognize the parts of my relationship I didn't appreciate enough. And like that kind of goes into when I reflected after breaking up what I could have done better with. And, like after breaking up, I was like, oh, like, you know what? Like maybe this guy is the one for me. Like I could meet another guy out there that's going to meet me exactly where I want them to be at, like halfway. I'm not going to have to, teach them different things and like be patient and have to ask them how to do things. And what it really actually made me do that time was made me realize like how hard it is to actually find these kinds of qualities in guys. And one reason I really liked that relationship with him is because he made me feel safe in a really, I guess, subtle way, in an indirect way that wasn't obvious until it was gone. Until it was gone.
Okay. So speaking about relationships, I'm gonna kind of go on like a little tangent story here for a quick second.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously today's day and age, our generations, relationships really don't last all that long. And everybody says, well, my grandparents have been together for 75 years. My parents were together for 40 years. Well, let's look at that for a quick second. Back in those days, they weren't together because they were actually in a relationship. It was more of a business partnership. She needed somebody to be a financial provider, and he needed somebody to make a home. Therefore, they put up with each other's bullshit to stay in that relationship. So I feel like, in a sense, we're kind of like at a turning point, right? So the older people give the younger people a bunch of shit because you don't stay in a relationship. But they don't truly understand what a relationship is these days.
That's a great point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, first of all, older people, back the fuck off. And secondly,
Boomers.
Yeah.
like, I think as a younger generation, I think we need to look at things in a newer light because a lot of people try to look at relationships the old way, and that just doesn't work in this century. So a part of that, like you had mentioned earlier when we were talking, you were saying like there needs to be communication, right?
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, there wasn't.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that our generation is truly learning what a relationship means and how, and like developing, I guess, the process of going through it. And communication is huge. And that, like you were saying, wasn't a huge aspect of relationships back then. Relationships were not founded on communication, but with the way our society's moving, that's definitely like growing pains that we're kind of getting through. And so obviously communication isn't perfect all the time, and it's hard to find, others that you communicate well with. And so, breaking up and not staying in relationships is going to be inevitable.
Absolutely. So part of this whole new generation of relationships and this whole, not just relationships, this new generation of life, because I mean, we're at this like pivotal point in life in our generation where like things are just fucking whack, right?
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, if you think about it, the housing market, not just housing, but like the whole financial world is fucking crazy. Even if you make $100K a year, you can't afford a house, which is asinine. I use that word that you love so much there.
Whoa.
His favorite word.
Okay.
Yeah. So, everything's kind of crazy right now, right? And people are looking at us like we're the crazy ones, but we're trying to cope with this thing we call life, and we're trying to put it together in a way that makes sense, right? So when you were talking about this, possible abduction trauma, that's some serious shit.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, they wouldn't even blink twice at that, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't even be allowed to talk about it. So that's important. If anybody's ever in that situation, talk about it. Don't let it sit in your head, because that's going to cause depression issues.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to cause anxiety. And mental health is a big thing right now. Finally, people are starting to be more aware of it. So I think, you talking about that with us on here, that might help somebody else, who might be nervous about mentioning it. That might help somebody be like, hey, you know what? I had a fucked up experience too. And now I have anxiety. I can't even talk to guys.
Well, it's that split decision to logically think in a chaotic moment. How she was like, well, hold on a second. I ain't letting no grandpa take me in his van while he's playing Candy Crush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to logically think about this. I'm going to put my stuff inside my passenger seat, and I'm going to go find somebody. That's what you should do. Not just go, what's up, daddy? Don't do that. But I wanted to touch on your dating now versus back in the day. Dating now fucking sucks. You have X, Y, Z dating apps. You have XYZ social media. You have STD. You have you have a bunch of shit.
So true.
We have so many acronyms. It's ridiculous.
Now call me Daddy Ack. But anyway, for acronym. That could be my nickname on the show. But you have say Tinder. Tinder is basically, let's meet up and I'll serve you Plan B with orange juice in the morning. But then you got to leave. You have Bumble, which girls message first. You know how many people don't message me first? All the women. Okay, so dating now is a lot harder because you have so many outlets where you can vent, you can share stories, you can bring so many people into your personal life. Now you have 100,000 people on TikTok, say, that want to date you.
It's overstimulation.
And like it's more of a like a you have we touched on it just a little bit, and you have so many things that, like you said, overstimulate people. And like with the social media, and you're fighting for likes, and you're fighting for this, and you're fighting for that, you can't, some of these people that are either man or woman, it doesn't matter at this day and age, but you wouldn't be anything if social media hasn't grown to what it is. Mm-hmm. But along with that, you have the dating apps, and it's just it's a wildfire. And I'm not a fireman. I can't put that out. I just can't.
Joe's face every time. I will say I can't stand the dating apps because I just feel like it's super unorganic. Mm-hmm. And I just think that relationships need to develop like in a natural way, and that's why I can't stand those apps. Those apps are for hooking up. I'm just gonna put that out there.
I totally agree. Like those apps, I feel like everyone knows that you're not going to go on Tinder to find somebody who wants to commit to a long-term relationship. And the best bet on finding somebody who, might have the same relationship goals as you do that. You find those people by, developing your hobbies and going to, a drawing class or like an ice skating rink when it's the winter, and you find somebody who's into the same things as you are, right? Like the whole Greek life thing, into the same things as you are. It all comes down to like your common interests, and
I agree 100%.
Why is it that when you go on these apps, right, you have all these, both women and men, okay, making their profiles, and they're like, not here for hookups. That's exactly why they're there. Why you gotta play this stupid fucking game? If you're on there for a hookup, cut the shit. You just cut all that stupid shit out. Hey, I'm just trying to bone.
Because
I'm gonna save you time. You're gonna save me time. I'm gonna save probably like $40 on drinks, and we'll get a bag of popcorn and call it a day.
that's how you get kidnapped. If I was to put that, like, you're digging into a
It's a waste of time.
meet up, wham bam, thank you ma'am. Guess what? Nah, you ain't getting a piece of this biscuit unless I get a little gravy. Okay? Because you don't want to choke on a biscuit.
It's a waste of time.
I'm not a part of hookup culture. I dislike it because with hookup culture, people get hurt. I don't care who you are. If you were the strongest woman, go girl power. I'm a Powerpuff Girl. Empowerment, beauty, everything. You hook up with somebody for long enough, you are going to break down inside when he goes on to another side piece because you're just hooking up, so it really don't matter. There is no point in a hookup culture, and I will die on that hill. And I've said it all.
I'm going to disagree with you.
I was going to say, how are you friends with Joe now?
No fucking way, man. I'm going to disagree with you 100%.
Opposites attract.
Because one, I believe in mutual hooking up, right? So you're right on the aspect of somebody's going to get hurt. Well, one, if you talk to somebody up front, right, and you're like, hey, I'm not into the relationship. This is clearly sex, right? Because at the end of the day, a person needs human connection, right? Whether it be sex or whether it be cuddling, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? You need human connection. If you sit in your fucking house for the rest of your life without ever hugging somebody or holding their hand or touching another fucking human body, you're going to go crazy.
Oh, I agree, but do you know what emotions and chemicals sex releases?
Absolutely.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Your body is going to, after continuous use of sex, your body is going to get used to that. Then you start liking that person. It always starts out with the...
Stop fucking one person. If you're hooking up, hook up with multiple people.
Yeah, but what if...
If you're in a relationship,
what if you
you're in
got
a
that
relationship.
What did she do?
Well, then clearly you're not there just for a hookup.
You are, though, because you don't want the relationship. You can still hook up with one person. Friends with benefits. That's how this whole thing started.
And that's where this generation goes wrong. Our older generation, we called them hookers. You paid them to go away.
Never.
Right? Absolutely. Today's day and age, it's friends with benefits. That's where you have emotions and all that bullshit that gets in the way. So I think you need both. Okay? I think you need real relationships. I think you need the people that just hook up, because I don't know. I just can't see a world where you don't have people that hook up. I would go out of my mind. Okay,
that's where college parties and stuff come into play. Like, it's a
so you're hooking
drunken.
up.
Yeah,
but
I
so
can
you're
talk a
hooking up.
lot about that.
But it's not like
She loves it.
I know, but I'm saying it's not like it's
Sorry,
not,
buddy, that she left.
it's not a. I get what you're saying. You need to get laid.
You got to get laid,
Bro, do you know how many pages there are on Pornhub?
So hooking up.
Bro, I would rather not deal with a headache.
No, dude, the Pornhub ain't gonna do it. I don't have fucking 6 hours of my day to waste.
See this? This is my best
I
woman
don't.
right there.
That space
Dude.
can't.
I don't have 6 hours to waste. I'd rather fucking, be in, be out, fucking see you later.
I'm not
4 minutes.
Less than that.
I am not in the
Less than
bath.
that, man. If I'm on a mission, you ain't even got to see me for 2.
So with I do want to get both of you women's opinion, but I want one final statement before they give it.
And women think men are bad? Women are just as bad.
So I get listen, first off, this is why I think I'm going to be a great husband. Hear me out real quick. I love a good quickie, but I don't want a quickie with some chick that thinks I'm a 2-pump chump. I want a quick.
Who gives a fuck? You're
Bro,
hooking up.
I want.
Get your nut and see you later. Go get Taco Bell.
No, you ever almost had a concussion because of kneecaps, bro? Come on, let's be real here. Now listen, if I get a quickie while the dino nuggies are cooking, because my son or daughter is watching TV and the laundry's running, and let's do it real quick. Boom, 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 boom. I'm not going to a party going, oh shit, I'm done. I gotta go. And she's like, I haven't even taken my shirt off yet. I could have done that at the bathroom, saved myself money on beer, and gone to bed early.
You're telling me that you could get yourself off that quickly by yourself?
Depends on what I watch, bro.
Holy shit. Teach me.
You're the weird one. You're the oddball.
I'm not kidding you, man. If I'm by myself, we're talking a full fucking day.
Just search it, whatever.
It ain't happening.
Clicks your little clicker in the head. There's a button that, like, you see, it goes bing. And
dude, I'm like the number one customer of Pornhub.
You pay for that?
Absolutely. That's how you get the HD, the 4K.
No wonder you're broke.
No. Listen, you watch the free videos.
Also, porn is fucking bad, for starters. Porn is really bad. People shouldn't watch it. And it's an addiction of mine. It's not that I want to watch it. I'm literally addicted to fucking porn.
I feel like all guys are.
I honestly do believe that porn is horrible.
It is so bad.
Vince, are you addicted to porn?
So bad for you.
What do you classify addicted to porn?
Addicted?
Yes.
I watch it 5 to 6 times a day, regardless of where I am.
Nope. I watch it at least maybe. I can go probably one day without it. It does. So it makes me feel a little better if I don't, which is kind of cool. Like, but I will watch it at least a minimum of once every other day. But there's some weeks where I'm having a bad week.
Dude,
I go in the bathroom and I'm trying to get shit out. Boom, done. I'm not sitting there trying to write a novel. I want to watch anime. I want to play video games. I'm not sitting there trying to, well, she's not walking the right way and she's not wearing the correct dress. I just want to get in, get out, done, boost my serotonin so I'm not depressed, and go back to my life.
Well, you are incredibly lucky, and I have to say that I'm jealous because I can't do that.
Yeah. Why do you think I don't have a fleshlight? So I just know what I want. I do it.
You know
a horrible addiction,
unfortunately.
Right? They sell molds, by the way. You can make them and sell them. Not only can you sell feet pictures, but you can sell molds.
Of your dick?
Yes.
And of
your vagina.
Yeah.
That's cool. I would do that.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, anyways.
So.
What?
Yeah, I've actually done it before.
Although I
you
will.
didn't know we already did that? No, I'm just kidding.
My God.
I will tell you, though, there are times where I want to sit down, I want to relax, and I might watch certain things that are a little longer in duration. I might be in there for 5 minutes.
But
5 minutes, longer duration. Whoa.
How do you manage? And this is a legit question. I'm not poking fun. This is a legit question. How do you actually manage from the time of sitting down and opening up your app?
Okay.
Or if you're not that fancy and you have to go to the website.
I go to the website.
So you go to the website, right?
Yeah.
You scroll through, you go through all the categories, you find the one you want, you pick it. How in the world do you actually manage to do that in less than an hour?
I'm going to tell you the coolest way. I have an Android. I have Google Chrome, and I have a Google box that has a bunch of saved ones that I quite frequently like. But the easiest way to get your rocks off real quick is to not have any intimate touch with a physical woman.
That's
because,
where I go wrong.
dude, well, yeah, but I'm not. I have been watching TikTok. You can't, as a dude, you can't go out and ask women out anymore.
No,
That's
you can't.
true.
You can't ask women
So
out anymore.
why I have to find another way to figure out how to date a girl or a woman or of some sort. I gotta find a way to play a system so I don't bother with going out. I work on myself. I have to fix myself first. I got a bunch of shit upstairs in the attic that's kind of knocking on the door trying to come out. I'm gonna let him out.
I feel as though I'm missing the point.
So the point is, it's easier to go in, wham bam yourself. If you are not, if you're going out every weekend getting laid, you are not gonna go have a bad day and try and get
Every weekend.
huh?
Every weekend?
Yeah, There are dudes that go out to get laid, and
Only on the weekends.
or yeah. Okay, we're talking normal people here. Normal people
Yeah.
go out on the weekends. They go to the closest bar. They go to the club. They go anywhere. They're trying to get laid. They buy drinks. The girls either eat up their drinks, go home, and talk shit about the dude with their friends, or they're like, "Fuck it, Rebecca. I need dick. So hear me out. I'm gonna go with him, and I'll call you in the morning. Can you bring me a mimosa and my Yeti? I'm gonna need it." That's exactly what's gonna happen.
Holy fuck.
Bro, I love
That was too
Yeti.
good. That was too good.
I know.
like
I've
it
seen it
happens.
happen. I've been on
So-
that. I've been on both. Like,
So you know the biggest trouble I have with it is I'm not actually watching it for the content. I'm obsessed with photography, as you know, and videography, right? So I look at it, and the whole time I'm watching it, I'm
You're
missing the point.
critiquing
I'm
it.
critiquing it. So I'm like, why the fuck would you do a camera angle like that?
well, don't watch the amateur shit.
Dude, it's fuck. I don't. I watch 4K high def stuff, man.
Oh,
like
yeah, I
that's real
forgot.
production. You know what I mean? They're using red cameras that are like 80, 90K a piece. That's not amateur. But I'm looking at it, and then next thing you know, I'm like 3 hours in, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my
Bro,
life?
I would never.
It's horrible. But I can't get that out of my mind, right? So like I'll go to work, I'll be at work, and I mean I drive truck still, so I'll be driving truck, and I throw that shit up on the phone on the dash.
No, I could not.
Absolutely.
You're
But I'm
awful.
also.
There's no way.
Yeah, it's bad. So I've been working, right? I'm not succeeding yet, but I think the first part of working on getting rid of an addiction is acknowledging it,
Yeah.
right? So I've acknowledged this a few years ago.
So I'm still working on it.
And what's the next step?
Well, no, I've been working on that, you know what I mean? So there really is a next step, and part of that next step is every time I want to go to watch porn, right? I have to put money in a jar, and if I don't have money in the jar, I can't watch it. So I've been severely reducing the amount that I've been watching it recently. So I don't usually keep a lot of cash on me. So if you don't have cash, you can't put money in the jar. You can't watch it. So that's kind of how I've been doing like a mental thing on backing myself off. Like for some
Interesting.
reason, that's the only thing that I found that works for me. But long story short, porn is horrible, and I feel like it's killing this generation of men.
Yeah.
It really is.
It is.
It like desensitizes you.
100%.
Well-
It like substitutes
it makes
a
it
real
unreal.
woman.
It makes it
Yeah,
unreal.
and it really changes your perspective and your expectations on what you think sex is going to be like and what it should be like and what you should gain from it.
That's why I watch a variety.
Whoa.
If you eat a bunch of pies, you're gonna figure out your favorite, right? Versus you're stuck with apple.
But if you watch like a TV show on like pie baking, right? And then you go and buy all the ingredients
Who
at the
doesn't
store
love
and you make
pie?
your own,
Me.
you're like, well, wait a minute, like this doesn't taste as good.
Well, you gotta practice.
But it's never going to be as good as the pie you see on TV because there's a lot of editing. There's a lot of like, fake ingredients that go in there. Like, when they make ice cream commercials, it's just mashed potatoes.
I watch a lot of those
Going to look
shorts.
different.
I watch a lot of those shorts on YouTube, so I know that yes, different ingredients go into the spectacular shots, and a lot of it's fake.
It's so fake. It's so staged.
But when you were talking about watching it on your dashboard,
Yeah.
I
Right,
was
that
thinking
one.
no, but I was thinking in my head, with obviously being single and like I work, I do this, I hang out with my friends, we have fires, we go ATV riding and stuff like that. I don't really have a popular lifestyle. I hang out with 2 to 3 people.
You don't need a popular lifestyle.
But-
you just need to be happy.
But I'm pretty decent. I'm all right. I'm not like.
Only you can answer
But you
that.
want a wife.
Oh, 100. I don't know why I said it like that, but but
Bro's going back to Haverhill.
but when you were saying you're addicted, I thought about it. I might be because honestly,
dude, who
little
isn't?
shit. Little
Who isn't?
shit turns me on. Like I like to think I'm a very like I don't know. I don't have a girlfriend to like enjoy it with, but little things turn me on, like just in general, or excite me, I would say, because I don't walk around my company with an erection. but if I'm sitting there and a a girl comes in a sundress and smells phenomenal, I'm very.
Are you sniffing on customers?
No, but she's wearing perfume and it's there, and I'm like, you're attractive, and I'll compliment, like, oh, you look great today, and they're like, oh, thanks, blah 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 blah, or a smile or eyes. It's just I don't know how you could be gay. I don't hate it. I love women so much I stay away from them.
You're gonna get us canceled.
Stay away.
I respect women so much I stay away from them altogether.
Wow,
and I watch them.
So right before we get off the porn tangent, okay?
Well, that was my porn tangent.
That was off rip.
I could
that,
see
that really was.
Well,
that
I
was
was
fucking way left field.
But I could see how you would get addicted.
Absolutely. So, real quick before we get off of that, I have a couple questions for the two of you before we wrap things up. Real quick, do you know what the percentage of women who watch porn in the United States is?
I do not.
Versus Europe.
I'm gonna guess for the U.S. probably like 5%.
What's your guess? So,
women?
Kat's guessing 35% in the U.S.
25.
So you're going to guess 25%. Now, what are your guesses for Europe?
100%.
You think 100%?
You think they're freaky?
So what's your guess, Kat? You were just over there. So what do you think?
Is it like Europe as a whole, or is it certain countries?
The statistics that I was looking at, they were categorizing Europe as a whole.
Okay. I would say maybe like 8 to 12%.
What? It's the other way?
So you're on track with that.
What?
Yeah.
That's what I
So
thought.
the United States, 68% of women
Ew!
watch porn on a regular basis, which is a regular basis is considered 3 to 4 times a week.
That's not that bad.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
In Europe, that percentage is actually 4%.
That's why it's so shocking to me, because it's like it just brings me back to how I guess media is so
Influential.
yes, and like desensitizing and like dangerous in the US. It's so like we're just consumers in every single way here.
I guess that
100%.
makes sense because aren't they more sexual or open to sexuality
A lot
in Europe?
more. A lot
so
more.
why would they need to watch porn?
It's not as taboo, and also I realized when I was in Europe, they have a much more traditional way of like, you know, relationships, dating, love, like all that stuff. It's much more traditional and not as like, I don't know, commercialized as it is in the US.
Interesting.
So the United States, right? They make money on porn. At the end of the day, they make money on porn. It's a commodity at this point. In Europe, they don't look at it like that. On the other side of that, look at the views. So in the United States, you're taught growing up, don't be naked. You can't. Oh, put your clothes on, right? Mm-hmm. That's how you're taught growing up. Mm-hmm. In Europe, that's not how it is. If we have anybody in Europe, send us an email. Let me know your thoughts. But I know from some things that I've learned, some articles that I've read, nudity. I mean, they have nude beaches and resorts everywhere throughout Europe. In the United States,
did you go to any?
Actually, I went to one in the States.
Yeah, there's a few. There's a few in the States.
But they embrace like nudity and nothing being censored.
Absolutely.
And I think it's healthy.
So the United States is very what's the word I'm looking for?
There's a stigma.
Censored, right? So we look at nudity, we look at sex as a taboo. So what happens when you take something away from people, right? You say, like, look at it in the sense of like a kid, right? Hey, don't eat those Reese's cups. What do they want?
Reese's.
So now you create addictions, right? In Europe, nudity's normal. Sex isn't considered taboo. It's natural, right? So what do they really not care about in the long run of things? Porn. Because they don't need to find it. They don't need to search for it. You don't have 12-year-old boys. I mean, I'm sure there is, here and there. But you don't have 12-year-old boys jumping on their mom's computer at fucking 2 a.m. trying to find porn.
Yeah.
No, they're sleeping because at the end of the day, they don't give a shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, they probably see it on TV.
Right.
I mean, it's not as it's not. I mean, I got excited at probably like 14 when I saw a fuzzy tit on the TV because
We're looking at the JCPenney bra section.
No, it was like I mean, I had basic cable. You plugged it in.
Channel 2 at
and
like
it
3
was
in the
like
morning.
it was all colorful and like like it was static.
Yeah.
But you could see boobs sometimes.
Yeah.
And it was like you do realize
I'm
like
shocked.
we take for obsession, because I didn't want to use granted. We don't take that for granted. We take it as come on, I can look at that anytime.
We overindulge in the United States. Everything from food to porn to shopping, we are overindulged. And I don't want to get... We'll bring that up on another topic about views. So I was actually just reading a very interesting article. I'll touch on it real quick about how countries in Europe, right, what these kids are being taught about people in the U.S., you would not believe the views that they're being taught, and they are spot on.
Wait, now I want to know.
They're spot on. We'll save that for the next episode if you want. We'll have to get you back here, and I'll dive into that. I'll break it all up for you guys. But it is, I mean, myself being an American, when I read this article, I was like, I was depressed by it. I really was. I was like,
no way.
Holy fuck. Like, literally the world's laughing at us. Legitimately.
I mean, the longer I was in Europe, the more I hated America.
Yeah.
Everyone says that when they go to
No,
Europe.
and it's so true because, like, I mean, a dream of mine is to move to London and, go to grad school there and end up working there.
Yeah. And
it just shows you so much more perspective on how different everything is. And, like, it's sad that, that porn statistic has gone up, because I remember on Twitter a couple years ago, I saw the statistic being for women in the U.S. 20%.
Yeah.
And for it to go up, almost 3 times?
Yeah.
Is like kind of sad.
It is.
Well,
100%.
That is so sad.
I think women watch different porn.
Well,
porn
yeah.
in general is like not good.
Let's wrap up the porn.
But no, I wanted to say this like comment on the
statistic.
I'm losing my mind. But I think that it increases because we're so different. They could watch it for something completely different than us. And I mean, if it went up, obviously maybe pre-COVID, post-COVID, you know what I mean?
That's definitely a factor in that. But I feel as though it's going up because people in general are being dehumanized, and people are relying more on electronics than another human. So instead of talking to somebody, you remember back in the day when you'd call your buddy up and you just shoot the shit at like 2 a.m. when you weren't supposed to be on the phone?
Yeah.
Who does that now? You don't talk to people anymore unless you have to. And you don't even talk to them. You text. You don't even talk.
Or you talk on a headset on a video game.
Right. But I mean,
well, like you have your
there.
squad. You know what I mean? Like, and I think we could save it for later, but I think that video games really help, honestly, bring people together from all around the world. Like, they're not super good for you, but like you're meeting people, kids that are, I think the introvert is the one that doesn't like meeting people outside.
Yes.
I think it's good for kids that are introverted, so they're meeting people with a common interest they may never see. You play with them for, say, a couple years, and you all of a sudden, I've seen like stories of people meeting people like that, and they've been best friends because they play through a console halfway around the world.
There's absolutely those great connections, but those great connections are far outnumbered by the negative impact on those video games and social media and the internet in general. Think about the online bullying, right? Kids today, back in the day, if someone talked shit, you punched them in the face.
And it was allowed.
Right? Today,
Yeah.
you have like middle school girls, right? Dude, they're so fucking depressed at a young age because not only do they have another girl talking shit about them, but they have like 70 fucking other girls that are seeing the same post from other schools. And now not only is she being picked on in her school, but she's being picked on in the whole fucking county. You know what I mean? Because this girl's friends with this girl's from whatever, cheer or gymnastics, and everybody's connected through the fucking internet.
Yeah.
So now this girl is, who knows what, suicidal. She's cutting herself. She's because of the fucking internet.
But how old is your experimental girl?
Let's say middle school. Let's say
I would not.
12. 13.
Let's say 12, 13 years old.
I would not. I didn't get on the internet and or lose my virginity till I was well over 16.
Because we grew up in a different time. Dude, 3-year-olds know how to use YouTube better than you and I.
I know, but that's a whole nother discussion.
It is, but I mean, like literally today, kids from, they're still shitting themselves in diapers and they know how to use a fucking smart TV. They can use a cell phone. They can, you know what I mean?
I hate that.
We were eating dirt. We were playing outside. We were getting bruised up. We're talking 2 totally different worlds.
Because if I had dial-up. So I had to get off the phone if my mom needed to make a phone call.
Right.
But at the same
It
time...
took you 10 minutes to send an insult.
At the same time, if I was getting quote-unquote online bullied, I would either just A, get off, B, not go on again, or C, when I get to school the next day, yeah, I'm going to beat him up. I think it's a lot on... It could be anything from being too babied as like you grow up and not being in that sort of, I don't say bring your kid to the ghetto and make him hold a Glock 9 and put up the guy at the store, but don't just... I have friends that have kids, and if their kid is hyperactive or something, they go, here's my phone, here's my tablet,
Yes.
here's this,
I
watch
can't
this.
stand
I
that.
can't stand that either.
That's why these kids grow up addicted to the internet, and they can't get offline when they're getting bullied, because now their whole life is revolving around the internet.
Correct. They don't know how to function without it.
So I think the next episode we touch on that a little bit. That's pretty cool.
I think we're definitely going to get into the raising kids next episode.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into some of the mental health stuff. Let me work on that. But as for right now, I do want to ask the two of you some questions. I want to ask the ladies some questions. And I kind of want to see Vince's reaction to some of these questions.
Oh, God.
Well, not to the questions, but to the answers. This should be fun. So I'm not going to throw you guys on the spot intentionally.
Oh, come on. Don't look at me.
Intentionally. But be prepared. First and foremost, because we were talking about the whole relationship thing in the beginning, right? In today's day and age, there's a few years between the two of you. In today's day and age, right? How would you say is the best way for a guy to approach you and ask you out on a date without being too creepy or without using the internet? What's the best way for this to happen?
That's a tough one because I feel like the only guys that I feel aren't creepy are guys that I've known or met a few times at least. So, like, at work, you get to know them as people first, and it's not creepy because they're not trying to pick you up the first day.
Okay.
So then once you develop that bond...
So once you already have someone of a relationship with them.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Kat, what about you?
I guess this is a really interesting question because even though we're not that far apart in age, the point of life where I am at, like still in college, I'm still able to have different, I guess I'm exposed to more people. And I have more opportunities to meet people who I know are in the same interest as I am. So whether that be like an internship or a part-time job somewhere or a class or a TA or a sorority or fraternity or whatnot, I have more of that opportunity to get to know people. Whereas once you are out of college and like working
Full time.
your bubble is like
Yes.
much more limited.
Yes.
And so I guess it just kind of goes back to like, you need to find people who are interested in the same things as you are. And when you grow up, it's hard to find that because the only people who you know are interested in the same stuff are the ones you work with, right?
Okay.
Like the bubbles get smaller. And so for me, I would say I would want a guy to approach me in some like, you know, common setting that we're both frequently at. And to, I guess, have it be more of a build up rather than like a on the spot, like, oh, like you're cute, like let's go somewhere, because then the girls are like, wait a minute. The only possible way you could know that you would want to ask me out is based on anything that you're seeing. So then you make the woman feel like objectified.
Okay.
So we're saying the same thing. You
essentially,
Yes.
yeah. So the reason I have a handful of these questions, and the reason I'm going to be asking them to you is because there is a little bit of an age gap between the two of you guys. So because there's an age gap between the two of you guys, not huge, right? It's going to kind of give, well, one, Vince and I a different perspective, and people listening a different perspective. Not a huge perspective difference, right? Because you're in college and you work full time. You're a mom, right? So even though you're close in age, the answers can be drastically different. So my last question for you guys is going to be, when is enough enough? Okay. So for instance, like earlier we were talking about your relationship that, you know, wasn't really working out, but yet you still talk to him, right? So when is enough enough? When do you draw that line and say, okay, man, this didn't work out. We're not talking as friends anymore. Like, where is that line?
You mean like where's the line
Like
to
the full cutoff.
to ending a relationship, or
Not just ending, like talking. So like for instance, Kat
Oh,
was in a
got
relationship,
it.
right?
Yes.
They broke up, it wasn't working out, and they still chat. They still talk. So when is that line going to come to a point? Is it going to come to a point, or are you going to try to rekindle things? For you, where would that line be for you? Like what needs to happen? What series of events needs to happen to get you to that point where you're like, you know what? Fucking hanging up the coat, or whatever that saying is.
I think once I'm done with him emotionally, then I'm done physically too. Like I won't talk to them. I'm like the queen of cutting people off.
True. You gotta know your audience. And I guess I could say something that kind of ties in with that. Done emotionally, and what that means to me is once you realize what your standards are, and once you realize that you just cannot tolerate anything that don't meet them, that's when you're done.
Yeah, but why are you still talking to your ex?
Because I still see potential in ways that I didn't necessarily appreciate had I not ended the relationship. And if I truly believed the relationship ran its course, I would not have found a reason to rekindle it.
So are you in the process of rekindling it?
Well, the way the relationship ended was also kind of like a big part in like how this is all playing out. So essentially, we ended things beginning of the semester, and when I broke up with him, I was really, really vague in what I said. I said nothing about, you know, what made me unhappy about the relationship, you know, why I did this, what I didn't like about the relationship, X, Y, and Z. I just kept it very, like, I kept the language very me-centric. Like, I need time for myself. I need, to realize what my needs are. I need to realize, like, I need to be independent. I have a lot of maturing to do. There's a lot of things that I want for myself in this abroad experience. And I just kept it at that because, honestly, that is the truth. It's all I knew. And I also said, like, the relationship was stressing me out. It was giving me a lot of anxiety. And I broke up because even though I didn't even have it all down to the core, none of my thoughts were, pinpoint, this is why I'm feeling this. All I knew, the only reason I had to actually break up was because I was unhappy. And I didn't want to say anything to him or act on anything that I was going to regret. And I didn't want to stay in the relationship because it would have ended anyways. And I then would have had a legitimate reason to break up with him.
Why drag it out?
Exactly. It was considerate. And everything I did in the most, contradicting way was considering his emotions, even if it meant breaking up with him. Because even though I couldn't explain it at the time, like, I still felt that guilt weighing on me if I didn't tell him. Like, essentially, his closure was my closure too.
I have a question to, like, kind of tag on to that, though. Like, genuinely coming from, like, a man's perspective. Did before you were needing to, like, work on you, so, like, you were vague about it, did y'all try to, like, communicate of why you were unhappy?
Yes. There were so many times where I had conversations about why I was unhappy and things that I, brought up that were, like, that I had concerns about. And another big problem with why these conversations weren't effective, like, you could tell somebody anything, but that's only half of the conversation. It's about understanding it too. And, when we would talk, he would project a lot of his, I guess, insecurity on what I was trying to bring up. And so if it's like, oh, like, I feel like, this is bothering me. And then he would just say, oh, well, now I feel really bad because I didn't mean to do that. And it's like, oh, I know you didn't, but it's not personal. Like, it's us against the problem. It's not me against you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want you to feel like I thought you intentionally did that. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I want to grow from it and, like, call attention to it 'cause it's important. Like, I'm not calling this problem out because I'm calling you out. I'm calling out a growing pain we could possibly work through. But, like, for you to take it so personally and think it's an attack is not productive. And so every time I would bring something up, the conversation wouldn't even go through because I felt guilty for making him feel that way.
Yeah.
So
guilt trip.
His projecting was honestly toxic. It was, like, mentally, like, straining and abusive because it made me feel like I could never bring up my problems, and that's why I kept sweeping them under the rug. I was never an advocate for myself or my feelings. And so when I ended things, I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to finally advocate for myself and my feelings because I can't spend this whole relationship advocating on what is going to hurt you and affect you. Sometimes I need to say things and be a bitch maybe to just say how I feel because it's the sake of the relationship. But, like, I don't think he has the capacity to realize that either.
To be fair, okay, I agree with what you're saying, but to be fair as a guy, I want to say that a lot of guys don't get that. A lot of guys aren't mature enough.
Yeah, and
to get that.
I saw that, and I said, even if I explained it to you, even if I said it one last time before I broke up to you why I'm doing this, you wouldn't have even understood anyways.
Right, correct. So
that wouldn't have fixed it, and it wouldn't have made it better.
Right. That's a big thing with, the maturity aspect, right? You could be in 100 relationships. That doesn't mean you're going to understand that. That takes a certain level of self-awareness to be able to understand that. I mean, me myself, I'm guilty of that. I was definitely at a point for a while with quite a few relationships where I was in his shoes. And it wasn't something that was malicious.
Yeah, it was never coming from a bad place, but it's like,
right.
It doesn't mean it didn't have a hurtful effect on me.
No, absolutely.
And, like, I also broke up with him because I saw the potential he had to be a better boyfriend and a better, like, asset as a whole. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I can't be mad at you because I knew it was never intentional. So why would I ever break up with you and have you think I never thought this was going to work out? I always wanted it to work out, and I still want it to. It's just, I don't think you could give me what I wanted, and I don't think you have the capacity to understand that. And, like, maturing is something I could never teach you, because I thought him being with me also weighed both of us down. I was taking away that potential he had because he felt comfortable with me. And it's like, if I can recognize that before you can, I'm going to give you that opportunity even if you don't know yet.
Right.
As much as it sucks.
Yeah. I mean, essentially you need to be on the same level, and from the sounds of it, you weren't on the same level. He just needs to get there.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to kind of advocate for him in a sense. I don't know him personally. I don't know his personality, none of that shit. But
you don't want to buy him a beer or nothing?
I don't know the dude. So
He's a natty guy.
As far as I'm concerned, man, he watches fucking anime in his mom's basement. I don't know, man.
Stop hating on my anime.
I did that for you.
And she said he's a natty guy. So
hypothetically speaking, right?
Mm-hmm.
How old is he?
He's my age, but like a month older.
But a month older. Okay. So he's pretty young still. So if he was to get his shit in line and grow up and learn more about himself, number one, and then learn more about communication, would you give him a second shot?
Well, so actually where we are right now, after having that one conversation about, for me to explain myself, where I was coming from, because I felt like that was the least he deserved and the least I could do, at least, to, explain it. We both talked about it a lot, and the feelings for each other are still there. Okay. And it's, like, actually unbelievable to me, because it's like, how could somebody still love me after hurting them so much? But anyways, we are not officially in a relationship right now, but we're still, like, talking exclusively. And the point of that is because not only are we long distance right now, like, it is just not the right time for us to start anything new. If we're, both working, we're both busy, like, we're not even seeing each other, like, in real life yet. And also, it's a way for me and him to finally develop a friendship instead of just jumping into a relationship, because we were never truly friends first, and I never built trust where I could truly be myself.
Being friends in a relationship is so underestimated.
I totally agree.
And I think it's very important.
It's so important because it's something you can fall back to even if your romantic relationship with them is having issues. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you guys are still friends.
Right. So think about it like this, right? I'm going to kind of lay out this scenario. So say you just get into a relationship, right? You're not friends, but I don't know, you guys kind of hit it off at the bar or whatever, and all of a sudden, the intimacy part, right? The sex part starts slowing down. The spoiling each other thing kind of starts slowing down, right? Because, you're getting a little bit older. He's working, you're working, XYZ, whatever the situation. What do you have now? If you're not friends, what do you have? You have nothing.
You don't have anything, and that's something I learned.
I think the friend aspect of that, right? Like, literally being able to, send a text of, like, something stupid, right?
Yeah.
To make, just to be like you're out and about and you're like, oh, that's kind of funny. Like, oh, she'd laugh at that, right? So you send it to her because she's going to laugh at it, right?
Yeah. It's so important being friends first.
That's
so
important.
Foundational.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And for the younger guys listening, stop just trying to get in their pants, man. Like, be friends first, because it makes a huge difference. It really
Agreed.
does.
It
really does.
I will say that also makes it so much harder to break up, because you lose that relationship, you lose your friend, the only person that has known you
It does.
for years.
But I think that's the basis and the foundation of a real relationship. I mean, realistically, right? You can have 100. A guy can have 100 girlfriends that he sleeps with, right? But how many real friends that he was in a relationship with can he have? Most likely, less than 5, right? No, you know what? No, that's even too big of a number. Probably less than 3. like a true friendship relationship combo.
It's a huge risk, but like I
Huge.
think that's a risk that everyone
It's
slowly
worth
discovers that's worth taking for like a long-term loving relationship.
Yeah.
Would you say you were friends with all your girlfriends?
No. To be, straight up. I mean, again, people listening that don't know, I was an asshole. I really was. I'm owning it. You know what I mean?
And like it's good because one thing I realized is like when the breaking point, like the cutoff point, was like it's to the point where I feel like you're not even respecting me like a friend. And if you can't even do that, like you have no business even trying to be above any of the things that my friends can already do.
Yeah.
If you can't do anything different that my friends can do, you have no business being in my life.
Right.
So I want to add to what's going on currently, because in the beginning, if you listen to the beginning, you said, well, you guys were talking about you don't want to take too long. So how does
That's a valid point.
How does a guy like me, who's trying to create a friendship, either not be shunned to a friend zone and ditched for mini golf, or create a friendship where she's like, yeah, this is great. Like there is no defining line in, we'll use the quote unquote friend zone. I think guys use friend zone as, oh, she doesn't want to sleep with me, I'm friend zoned. But I think it's a real place. I think guys use it wrong. But if I'm trying to create a friendship, because you guys say that friendship is a good base starter, why would I be wrong into accepting a second date from the girl I talked to earlier?
Well, I don't think you have a clear separation between friends and more than just friends. There are some things that people do not do with just friends.
That's
and there's
the truth.
and if you recognize these things and if you are receptive to them and if you're accepting of them, there's a mutual understanding that there's more than just friends here. And you have to, it's your responsibility to recognize that and say if I'm okay with this or not.
Well, that's why I tried to take her on 2 dates, but we
have you clearly defined it, and asked her about it?
Oh, 100%. Oh, after the fact?
Or at any point at all?
I said, let's go on a date. We can go mini golfing. And she said yes. And then became sick. I don't know.
Her cat got sick.
I like to think of the good in people a lot more than the bad. But anyway, my question was, how does a guy...
How do you build a relationship and do it quickly? I think, is that what you're asking?
How do you build a friendship quickly to be in a friend, because you don't want a guy to take too long becoming a friend, while you then have
so
to
complicated.
you also, so you have to become a friend quick enough because you don't want another dude to take your too quick friendship, but you want to make sure the friend that you're trying to be is more than friends, while if you're not quick enough or you're too slow or this, that, and the other thing. How does one man try and juggle time?
I am so glad that you said that.
How do I judge time in a, I want to date you, but I'm trying to be your best friend? That's what a marriage, whether you're pro-marriage, whether you're pro-lifelong relationship, I'm pro-marriage. I'm trying to marry my best friend that is a woman. Let's state that for the record.
Maybe.
No. Maybe. This is for the two ladies.
Go ahead.
Because I
have a thought on this for you afterwards.
Yes.
Afterwards.
But I'm just going off of what you guys said in the beginning.
I think that the issue that we had with you trying to make it happen with Juliana.
It wasn't Juliana, but it was.
Was it Antoinette?
Yes.
No, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, Antoinette.
No.
It was Juliana.
Yes, you're right.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Okay, the issue with that is that she fucked you over already. Twice. So why are you going to keep giving her a chance? She's done with. Get her the fuck out of here.
Okay.
Okay, and then as far as the timeline, I just think that you want to establish a connection in a non-creepy way first, be that friend, but also you have to see the window of opportunity. Don't drag it out for 2 fucking years and expect her to still be interested.
I'm not trying to drag it out for 2 years. First off, that
sounds personal.
am I trying to make moss grow on a friendship? No. I'm trying to like I said, become.
I think I know what point you're trying to get at, and I kind of follow up to that. And how you guys are viewing this, based on the way you're talking about it, like, love and dating and all of this is not a science. Like, it's not like a specific, like, black and white math equation. Like, I have to do this, and this perfectly right way. You are going to run into shit when you date somebody new. Every single relationship is a learning experience. And the more people you date, the more you realize about yourself and your needs and what you were looking for. Same with the other person. And, like, you have to put yourself out there, even if rejection is scary, because if you don't try that, you're just going to be stuck with, like, oh, like, I guess I'll never know. And I guess I will continue to not know more about myself. And furthermore, like, you can't always be certain. That's another thing. Like, you can't always be certain, and, like, making sure that you're doing every single thing right. Sure, it can be confusing, but when you meet somebody, it's as simple as this. Like, you know, meet someone, establish a good connection, communicate first. Hey, this is kind of what I'm looking for. If this is not what you're looking for, you know, after the first date, we don't have to do this anymore. Yes or no. That's all you should need to know to make your next decision, whether to stay with them or not. Like, you need to set yourself up for success too.
Correct.
And, like, people will always say, oh, like, the grass is always greener. Like, oh, like, how can they get in a relationship? Like, how can't I? The grass is greener where you water it.
Is that a Justin Bieber?
Because it's fertilized with bullshit sometimes.
But, like, my point is, if you don't put yourself in a good environment, you will not thrive.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And
it is almost 99% your responsibility.
Correct, but what I get the whole dating to find dandelions in the greener grass and stuff, but I don't want to waste time. We're not here for a long time. We're here for a short time. Why do I want to continuously date people and build a connection and fucking get hurt?
Well, is it going to be about quality then?
Yeah, it's quality over quantity all the time.
Well,
in every aspect
like quality
of life.
over, like, efficiency here.
How about you just get out there and date and then find the right one? They're not just going to knock on your door.
And the other thing is like, your version of perfect and ideal, like, that it's going to change a lot. And, like, what you think is perfect might not be what you actually thought anymore.
Can we find Vince?
No. No.
I think we should do that.
That's what
okay, hold on a minute. I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed. For the no.
What time are you guys free?
For the simple fact that obviously I can't fucking pick good apples if they're cat sick and they don't want to go fucking mini golfing. I'm not gonna sit here waste my time for nothing. So therefore,
but you're not gonna know if
that.
It's worth something until you put something into it.
Okay,
right?
I'm gonna defend Vince over here because I am also somewhat of an introvert. Like, you were saying,
you're definitely an introvert.
Yes, absolutely. You were saying, like, don't be afraid of rejection. When have you been rejected?
Right.
So many times.
No way. I don't believe that.
Okay.
I will have to say that a woman gets rejected far less.
Yes.
Than
it doesn't mean it hurts any less.
Correct. But if you get rejected once a year and I get rejected 35 times a year, I guarantee you my mental health is going skyrocketing to the earth like the meteor that killed the dinosaurs. Do you want me to be a Tyrannosaurus Rex that gets killed by a meteor?
You know what? Maybe I should frame this better. Sure, rejection is scary, but you can kind of minimize that effect by maybe growing the balls to say, hey, let's have a conversation to determine the relationship before I actually get rejected.
Boom, pepper spray.
Boom.
Hey, listen, I'm got balls. You want to see them? Let's date.
Boom, pepper spray.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, this has been a fucking awesome conversation.
It's been dynamite because it's been a blast.
It has been dynamite, and I would love to keep going with this, but we are coming up on that 2-hour mark.
That's what she said.
I'd like to close this out. A little bit of the next episode. Hopefully we can get Kat to call in. She's not going to be around to be here with us. Vince will be here. And, of course, your lovely host, Diana, and the ugly Joe. We'll always be here. So hopefully we can get her to call in. I think we're going to be talking about raising children and actually a lot more on the mental health standpoint of things, dealing with depression and stuff like that, because a lot of that relates to raising kids, and raising kids relates to your mental health. We can tie that all in. There's some bigger parts to that we're going to tie in as well. I just don't want to spoil it at the moment. And if you're listening, stay tuned, because we're going to be raffling off a Amazon gift card. Listen to the next episode for details on that, and maybe you can win. Sounds good?
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to say thank you again for coming out, Vince and Kat, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
You are very welcome. Just so you know.